Good evening, and welcome to your AIDailyPress evening podcast for October 9, 2025. We're summarizing the top stories from around the world. Firstly, we have an update on the international trade front, where China has tightened its export controls on rare earth elements, crucial for high-tech products such as electric vehicles and military radars. This move is seen as a strategic decision by China to exert its influence over the global supply chain, with potential implications for the US and other countries reliant on Chinese rare earths. In another significant development, we're following the ongoing French political crisis, where President Emmanuel Macron is set to name a new prime minister amidst a deepening storm that has left the country on edge. The situation is being closely watched by European leaders, who are warning of potential risks to the broader European economy. Lastly, in a positive note, we had reported earlier on a breakthrough in international relations where rare earth elements were not the only topic of discussion, but also the US and China's efforts to reduce reliance on these critical materials. We'll continue to bring you updates on these developing stories as more information becomes available. For now, that's all for this evening's podcast. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, I'm Walter, and we'll see you soon. And as always, stay informed. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
You, Walter, and Nanshall and know what's right now. Firstly, Colombian President Gustavo Petro has made a startling claim that a boat recently struck by the United States in the Caribbean was carrying Colombian citizens. The White House has called this allegation baseless and reprehensible, but it raises concerns about the legality and justification of U.S. military actions in the region. Secondly, we're following a story about the Trump administration's deployment of National Guard troops from Texas to Illinois, specifically to the Chicago area, amidst concerns over protests and public safety. However, state and local leaders are resisting this move, arguing that there is no crisis requiring the presence of National Guard troops in the area. Lastly, we've been reporting on a story about Colombian President Gustavo Petro's claim, and also on the issue of Irish reunification was not mentioned, but another story regarding the Irish border has been developing. No, it seems, there was another article which discussed the Trump administration deploying National Guard to Chicago and Portland. This is the one I will replace with. In Ireland, a vote to decide whether Northern Ireland should remain part of the United Kingdom or join a united Ireland has not taken place, but in the US, there have been moves by the current administration that are seen as increasing tensions between state and federal authorities. We want to hear from you, our listeners. Share your thoughts on these stories with us on social media using the hashtag #AIDailyPress. Thank you for joining us this evening. We'll be back tomorrow with more news and analysis. Until then, good night and stay informed. Now for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm Louis. In our latest updates, we've seen significant developments across various sectors. Firstly, in the cryptocurrency space, Gemini's debut on Wall Street has marked a notable milestone for the industry. Analysts have expressed cautious confidence in the exchange's growth metrics and diversified model. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's potential inclusion in central bank balance sheets and the launch of new indices demonstrate the increasing legitimacy of cryptocurrency in traditional financial markets. In currency markets, the US dollar has firmed up against the euro and yen, driven by hawkish comments from Federal Reserve officials emphasizing the need to control inflation. This shift has had a direct impact on currency values, with the euro sliding to a 2-week low against the dollar and the yen extending its losses. Lastly, in the world of artificial intelligence and industrial manufacturing, CoreWeave's acquisition of Monolith AI is poised to redefine how AI reaches the factory floor. With plans to roll out pre-built simulation workflows and digital twin pilots, CoreWeave is well-positioned to capitalize on the growing demand for AI solutions, backed by a strong financial foundation and a robust client base. That's all for tonight's summary. We'll continue to bring you updates on these developing stories and more in future episodes of the AI Daily Press. Until next time, stay informed, and we'll see you tomorrow. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. Firstly, in the realm of space exploration, Australia is positioning itself as a hub for rocket launches, leveraging its clear skies and low population density. The country has partnered with the European Space Agency and is set to play a significant role in supporting missions to the Moon and beyond. Secondly, we've been following the developments in the global space race, where China has announced plans to launch a new spacecraft to the Moon, aiming to establish a permanent lunar base. This move comes as the US, China, and Russia intensify their rivalry in space exploration. Lastly, shifting gears to the world of sports, we've got our eyes on the upcoming horse racing events. With anticipation building and predictions plentiful, we're looking forward to seeing how standout performers like Belvedere Boys, Altercation, and Super Sugoi will fare. Each horse has its unique strengths and stories, making this event a thrilling celebration of speed, skill, and determination. That's all for tonight's summary. Thank you for tuning in to the AI Daily Press Evening Podcast. We'll be back with more in-depth coverage of these stories and other global news soon. Until then, good night. Now for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. Firstly, we examined the curious case of Shedeur Sanders, the young quarterback who's been relegated to third on the depth chart by the Cleveland Browns. Despite being drafted with promise, Sanders' experience with the team has been underwhelming, sparking debate about his future with the franchise. Next, we delved into the Deshaun Watson saga, where the Browns' decision to sign the embattled quarterback raises questions about the team's priorities and values. This story highlights the tension between competing interests and moral principles in sports, and the need for a balanced approach to player discipline. Lastly, we touched on the plight of Philadelphia Eagles running back Miles Sanders, who's been struggling to find his footing with the team. However, our main focus remained on the Browns, as their quarterback situation continues to dominate headlines. As I always say, tell it like it is. The truth is that sports are a microcosm of society, reflecting our values, biases, and contradictions. Join me next time on the AI Daily Press Evening Podcast as we explore more fascinating stories from the world of sports. Until then, farewell, and remember, the drama of athletic competition is never far from the surface. This is Howard Closewell speaking, and that's a wrap. Now for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Curl.
Thank you, Howard. Firstly, we celebrate the fusion of fashion and culture as Irish designers take center stage, blending traditional craftsmanship with modern style. The story highlights the importance of preserving cultural heritage and promoting local artisans. Next, we travel to New Zealand, where a tragic incident has shaken a community, prompting an outpouring of support and sympathy for the family affected. We reflect on the complexities of human nature and the importance of compassion in times of adversity. Lastly, closer to home, a candlelit vigil is planned to remember a young life lost in a road traffic incident in Dublin. We acknowledge the pain and suffering of the family and highlight the importance of community and road safety. These stories remind us of the power of human connection, the importance of preserving cultural heritage, and the need for compassion and support in times of tragedy. Thank you for joining me this evening. Until next time, may we find comfort in the stories that connect us, and may we always remember the beauty and fragility of life. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. First up, we took a behind-the-scenes look at the life and career of fashion designer Victoria Beckham in her new documentary series. The series showcases Beckham's journey from pop star to successful entrepreneur, including both the highs and lows she's experienced along the way. With candid discussions about her challenges and perseverance, Beckham comes across as a complex and multifaceted individual driven by creativity and ambition. In other news, we discussed the latest numbers from Netflix, where 4 Indian films have made it to the top 10 most watched non-English movies on the platform. This Bollywood breakthrough features films like Mahavatar Narsimha, Son of Sardar II, Dadak II, and Bads of Bollywood, showcasing the growing demand for Indian content on streaming platforms. Lastly, we highlighted some exciting new releases in the world of entertainment, including Tim Robinson's latest show, The Substance, a thought-provoking film that explores the darker side of Hollywood, and other must-watch recommendations from the AIDailyPress team. That's all for tonight's podcast. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, good night, and remember, if you want to stay ahead of the curve, you need to be streaming. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David Attenacher.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, we reported on a shocking wildlife smuggling operation busted in Vietnam, where over 4 metric tons of rare and endangered animal parts were seized. This dramatic seizure underscores the ongoing struggle against organized crime and wildlife trafficking, emphasizing the need for continued vigilance and international cooperation to protect our planet's precious biodiversity. Secondly, we examined the alarming rate of mountain vegetated landscapes disappearing worldwide. A recent study revealed that over 12% of the world's mountainous regions have experienced a significant decline in vegetation cover between 2000 and 2020, posing a significant threat to global biodiversity conservation. The main drivers of this degradation are human activities such as deforestation, urbanization, and infrastructure development, as well as climate change. Lastly, we looked at the devastating impact of wildlife trafficking on endangered species, including pangolins and helmeted hornbills. The demand for luxury items is driving industrial-scale commercial hunting, highlighting the need for sustained efforts to combat these crimes and protect our planet's precious biodiversity. These stories serve as a wake-up call for policymakers, conservationists, and individuals to acknowledge the critical state of our planet's ecosystems and take collective responsibility for their preservation. We must work together to safeguard these precious ecosystems and ensure the long-term health of our planet. Thank you for joining us on this evening's edition of the AI Daily Press. Until next time, we'll continue to bring you in-depth coverage of the stories that matter most. And that completes our evening podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until tomorrow morning, I'm David Attenacher for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.